And we gather today to remember and honor the life of Judy Singer. I'm honored to co-officiate today's service with Reverend Ann Mason, who is a senior minister of First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church of Lexington, Massachusetts, where Judy and Mike have been members for many years.
Thank you. A life is sacred in its living, and it is sacred in its dying. We are in this moment now, as one body of people, gathered to mourn a common loss. And in the sharing of our sorrow, we support each other. We come into this world as a part of the human family, and while we finally leave this life alone, our lives are intertwined with the lives of each person with whom we connect on this beautiful earth. It is the mystery of life that we know not where we go, but we trust that in the living of this life, we make connections that will sustain us through this life and beyond, into the eternal mystery that awaits us all. In the midst of loss, it is important to remember the beauty and love that held our relationships together. For these are the things which we will remember years later, because they touch us so deeply that we are shaped by them. This afternoon you will hear tributes from those who loved Judy dearly. Find your own space within these reflections. Remember the Judy singer that you have come to know and love. Feel the connections with those who are here to honor her and get to know her better through their eyes. And importantly, look to the holy, to comfort you in your own sadness, to carry you through this difficult time of loss, and to help you find the joy which sometimes feels hidden in the mists of sorrow. For the love you feel for Judy Singer is a cause for joy, my friends, even today. For Judy was a woman who made people feel the deep care that she felt, and having known a woman like Judy is cause for celebration. So smile through your tears. Enter into this time of sharing with your hearts open and ready to receive the memories offered here today. For those of you that are in the back, there are some seats here in the front row, which I would encourage you to come right down and take a seat, please. Thank you.
Let us remember and honor the life of Judy Hagstrom, singer, through her many connections of love. Judy is the beloved daughter of Eleanor and Larry Hagstrom, dear sister to David, who predeceased her, devoted wife of Mike Singer for 63 years, loving mother to Leslie and husband Mark, to Steve and his wife Tony, to Scott and his wife Patty, loving grandmother to Paige, Natalie, and Jason Singer, Finn and Claire Prescott, a loving aunt to numerous nieces and nephews, and a devoted friend and neighbor to so many persons over the years. We trust that Judy has been reunited and embraced by loving family members, relatives, ancestors, and friends in the spirit side of life. Please bring peace to her soul and allow her newfound joy to be shared and conveyed back here to her loved ones and friends who mourn her departure. We're grateful for the everlasting gift of creation, and we are thankful that Judy was woven into the fabric of our lives. Amen. I wanted to say that as part of the pastoral ministers program here at Brooksby, we always encourage residents to do some advanced planning, and Judy really helped shape today's service by writing a 2-page outline of elements she wanted to be included. And so this reading is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 that she requested. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship, that I may boast, but I do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, and is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now, we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.
As some of you know, Mike and Judy lived on Cape Cod for many very happy years. And there's a poet from Cape Cod named Mary Oliver that we thought might be the right person to share one of her poems. And so I'm going to read When Death Comes by Mary Oliver. When death comes like the hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut. When death comes like the measles pox. When death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through the door, full of curiosity, wondering, what is it going to be like? This cottage of darkness. And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And I look upon time as no more than an idea. And I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy and as singular. And each name, a comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does toward silence. And each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. And now Judy and Cy will play another piece that Judy asked to be enjoyed by us all today. Let there be peace on earth.
into a time of memories and tributes, and I invite Leslie to begin.
Okay, I'm going to try to do this. Got my back up, just in case. So when I think of my mom, I think of colors. Bright shades of aqua in both home decor and her outfits that always complemented her beautiful blue eyes. Floral prints on her clothing, stunning oranges and yellows in her photographs of sunrises and sunsets. Bright blooms of forsythias, daffodils, tulips, and when we were lucky enough to have them, rhododendrons and azaleas. Her bright pink lipstick. I think only now I recognize her bright colors as being a symbol of the bright light she carried within her. In the days after her death, I read many of the cards sent to her when she fell ill and to my dad with her passing. It was striking how many people viewed my mom as a bright light, and it made sense. Along with the bright colors she wore and decorated with, she did spread her light to so many of those around her. In the photographs she took, in the groups she organized, in the friendships she cultivated, in her programs of inclusivity, in the music she surrounded herself with, and in the care she showed to her family and friends. She was my beacon of light. She was steadfastly there for me. Whether it was minor social drama, huge milestones like graduations, my wedding, and the birth of my children, she was there. When I traveled to Australia and suffered my first real heartbreak, she flew out to Oregon to meet me on my way back to help soak up the tears and let me know it would be okay. When my family moved across the globe with her 2 grandbabies, whom she had imagined spending her retirement caring for, she still made the arduous trip to visit us within months of our arrival. Whether I needed mom advice, child development advice, or just an ear to listen, she was always there, even through crazy time differences. And when I struggled, she learned not to ask if I was okay, because just the sound of her voice would be permission I needed to break down in tears with dealing with any hard thing I was dealing with at that time. But she was always there with her light and warmth and caring that helped turn me into the person I am today. She was an amazing role model as a person, as a wife, as a mother, as a professional. Recently, she admitted to me that it was hard to realize she was needing me as much as I had needed her in the past. She maybe saw that her body was declining in a way that the rest of us hadn't quite realized. But even so, she was still there and still shining, and I soaked up her sunshine as much as I could, and I can only hope to make half the impression on others as she did in her 86 years. And I'm grateful for all the years I had with her, and I'm grateful that you had a chance to see her light too. Thank you.
Would you like Steve to come up? Thank you.
Hello everyone. As I look around the room, it's unbelievable how many lives Mom touched. I see folks I met as a child, as some I met last week. Mom went by many titles: Judy Singer, Aunt, Miss, Doctor, Randy, J-Mom, and of course Mom. She was a great mom, and I miss her. She had a huge impact on me and helped form me into the person I am today. When it was discovered that I learned it differently the most, Mom found clever ways to support me. When it got tough, I found ways to avoid it. And Mom knew I was competitive, so when we had time, she would challenge me to games of Scrabble or Boggle. Hey, this is fun. I wanted to win. And even though it wasn't my goal, I became good at spelling, which helped me in the future. When I was 16, we started a great tradition. Every summer, just the 2 of us would go out for a special lunch. We alternated who would pay depending on the year. When even Stephen, broad mom. The one-on-one time was great. We could talk about what was happening in our lives, both the good and the bad. This 40-year tradition was a major bond for us. It was something we both looked forward to and talked about throughout the year. Mom was very supportive with me academically. When Westfield State did not invite me back after my junior year, I was very lost and discouraged about my future. It was Mom who suggested that maybe I should travel and leave the East Coast for a while. Living in Wyoming and Alaska was a very different experience than living in Lexington. Away from home, I learned how to be independent and matured a lot. I figured out how to live on my own for the first time, just like she knew I would. With Mom's encouragement, when I moved back east, I went back to college. I was more prepared to handle what was thrown my way, both academically and socially. It was the right choice as I graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology and also met my wife. With another gentle nudge, Mom guided me to apply at Acton Boxborough, the same school system that she worked in. Mom knew it would be the perfect fit, and 30 years later, I still work in special education. There are so many other stories that demonstrate how supportive and encouraging and loving Mom was. Her text, seeing how my day is going, give me advice if I needed it, and of course, as my siblings probably know, to remind me of her upcoming birthday. When Tony and I would visit Mom, she would always make sure that I had my favorite meal, whether it was French toast for breakfast or her spaghetti with meat sauce for dinner. Both were amazing. Mom's love, guidance, and support helped me follow the path that was right for me, and I miss her.
And Scott.
Good afternoon. As many of you know, I've been a high school English teacher for 30 years, 25 of them in Caribbean. One of the many great gifts my mom gave me was for me to see the joy and pride that she felt when seeing me interact with former students in the community, and when she read some of their thank you notes to me. One of her last texts to me said, in addition to the joy of having our family together for Dad's birthday, was the joy of seeing me with your students. Your warmth and relationship with them and theirs with you is palpable. It makes us so proud and happy to see that. One of my teaching practices comes with handwriting letters. The students write them to me and I write them back. So it feels quite natural to pay tribute to my mom with a letter. I begin with a quote that my colleague, Katie Cohen, shared with me upon hearing of her passing. She wrote, when you lose someone close to your heart, they'll stay with you forever. Dear Mom, I wish you were still here. It may be a selfish wish, but it's hard to let you go. To think that you're gone so quickly. I had just seen you on Mother's Day for ice cream. You didn't want it to drag on. You didn't want to become a widow. You didn't want to be a burden. And you didn't want to lose your mental sharpness. Oh, and you sure didn't want that damn dental work. You wanted to die on your terms, with dignity and being able to say goodbye to your loved ones. We did the best we could to support those wishes. You lived a full and purposeful life where you made real impact in your professional life and in the communities that you lived and loved in. Your resilient, empathetic, kind, and inclusive ways are your legacy, and they'll live on. They'll live here at Brooksby and in the other communities that you've lived in and touched, but most of all, it will live on through your children and grandchildren. We are your legacy. We are teachers and lawyers, doctors and engineers, but most of all, we try to follow the model you set. In my classroom, hanging over my desk, are family photos, and then one photo of Dr. King with his I Have a Dream speech. A student brought it to me over 20 years ago after having visited his museum in Memphis, knowing about my admiration for his beliefs and his words. You began to honor the words of MLK in the schools you worked in over 50 years ago when you started an initiative to pay tribute to his values. I suppose I adopted much of those beliefs by watching you. His words clearly guided your beliefs and then were passed down to me and out of my own children and to thousands of my students. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. The time is always right to do what is right. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. And life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Clearly his words resonated with you, Mom, and impacted the way you chose to live. I like to believe in the butterfly effect, that the stone you threw in the pond will have far-reaching ripples through the books we read and discuss together in my classrooms, and from those same values that I try to model myself: empathy, kindness, inclusivity, and resilience. Let's hope that my students absorb and pass along those same values to their children someday. Losing you has evoked a myriad of complex emotions, but the most powerful one is without a doubt sadness for your loss. It's been hard to make peace with, but here we are, trying to move on as she would want us to. I often turn to books to find the right words. I really love teaching the book, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I've taught that book for many years. The main character of this novel is Eddie, who loses the love of his life, Marguerite, and Eddie has trouble moving on. His wife Marguerite meets him in heaven and has this to say to Eddie: lost love is still love. It just takes a different form, that's all. You can't see them or smile or bring them food or tussle their hair or move them around a dance floor. But when those senses weaken, another heightens. Memory. Memory becomes your partner. You nurture it, you hold it, you dance with it. Life has to end. Love doesn't. I'll end with a few more words from people at my school. My fellow English teacher, Christina, wrote, "I can only imagine how difficult the last few days have been for you. I'm so sorry to hear of her passing, but also warmed by the thought that I get to teach with you, part of her living legacy." Here are a few words that came in personal letters from my students, Iris and Giddy. Iris wrote, "I like to believe that the people we love never leave us entirely. They remain in the lessons they taught us, the phrases we catch ourselves repeating, the values they quietly planted within us, and the countless moments that suddenly remind us of them. Though their physical presence is gone, their influence continues to move through the world in the people they loved." And then my student Gideon, his letter began, "Despite my poor work ethic in class, I think we have a very solid relationship." Both are true. He then went on to write, "Continue doing what's best for you and teaching the next generation to be great, strong, and kind people, such as yourself. I'm so sorry for your loss. You are awesome." On the last night that my mom was lucid, she was visited and surrounded by her family. She kept saying, "Thank you for coming to this," like it was a goodbye party. "So thank you for coming to this." I asked her then what she felt most proud of professionally, and she said, "How many people I helped." I think she had no idea how our reach has been or will be. Keep my mom alive, the many wonderful memories we have with her, with the people we touch, and the way we try to lead our lives. We'll miss you so much, Mom. Thank goodness there's no need for dentists in heaven. Be peace, and you'll always be in our hearts and in our memories. Love your firstborn son, Scott."
Thank you, Scott. Mike told me that when Judy was working in the acting school system for 30 years, she made sure that she shared Martin Luther King Jr.'s words, his famous speeches with the students. And she did ask that we read a few of these excerpts from that famous 1963 speech. "We cannot walk alone. As we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. But not only that, let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. When we allow freedom to ring from every city and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Great God Almighty, we are free at last. And now we're going to listen to a beautiful Mozart piece that will be offered by Judy's friends, Judith Ahrens, Doug Kramer, and Fern Schaefer. This is the Mozart Kettlesaw Trio.
much. That was just lovely. I'd like to welcome Reverend Helen Cohen to come up and speak. Reverend Helen is the Minister Emerita of the First Parish in Lexington, where I now serve. And Helen was Judy and Mike's minister for many, many wonderful years. So I'm glad you're here today, Helen.
I'm in the in-between glasses stage. I'll do my best. I can just feel the feeling that is moving through this whole room with all of us here. The warmth, the connection, the openness that have been created by the Center family over the years in many different settings, but everywhere. Find the groups of people experience each other and create together such a sense of community. Dear Mike, and all the family and friends gathered here to remember and give thanks for having Judy Singer as wife, as mother and grandmother, as friend, as colleague. We certainly have much in our hearts today to take home with us and to hold there when the service ends. My experience working with Judy and other members of First Parish in Lexington, like Martin Powell is here, to develop First Parish's pastoral care program. And then on a similar project with her for the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Falmouth, Massachusetts, was an deeply enriching part of my ministry, which I carried with me for many years after Judy and moved to the Cape. Judy's mixture of wise, loving care that she gave her family and her many communities, with her intelligence and commitment to making the world a better place whenever she could, increased all our strength, our good sense, our joy, our sense of comfort and belonging. Photography was a special joy for her, whether taking pictures of our church elders, which was one of the wonderful projects that she was involved in, or of the natural beauties all around her in Lexington or Brooksby or the Cape. She showed us the beauty of the world. And in their life, she and Mike together were an example and inspiration for all the relationships they touched in the years of professional counseling and beyond, showing what true living and caring is all about. I don't know many people who were fortunate enough to be married for 63 years, but I can tell you Mike and Judy did it well. Because Judy and Mike's marriage was such a rich blend of their Christian and Jewish heritages, and open to a world of cultures, other cultures, I was wondering what single word I might use to describe her. No, not a saint. She was sweet, but not perfect. No, not a saint, no holier than thou. But yes, I think a mention, a great Jewish word for a whole, wise, strong, gentle, brave leader. Yes, of course, the word mensch originally referred only to men. But I think that today, at least some of us, want to expand that word to include women. And if we were to do that, Judy would be first in line. Thank you, Judy, for being you. May we carry on your love and your courage. Thank you, Mike and Judy, and all the family, for sharing Judy with us, for talking about her here, and for taking what she's given to you out into the world. Thank you to all who are here, and the many who couldn't be here, for holding Mike and Judy and the family in their hearts and carrying on their presence in the world.
Thank you, Reverend Helen. Now I'd like to invite Judy and Mike's grandchildren, Paige, Natalie, Jason, Finn, and Claire, to come up.
Thanks for coming to celebrate our Grammy with us. We all have individual memories of Grammy, but Paige, Jason, and I kind of all want to reflect on her love in creating, capturing our family memories. Whether we were cramming 15 people in our living room after Christmas dinner or lining up our vacation clothes during our annual White Mountain trips, Grammy always made sure that we paused to appreciate how lucky we were to gather as a family and to capture those moments. Because she had an eye for photography, those pauses often lasted several minutes. We are so lucky to have spent so many vacations, holidays, and mundane events like soccer games or shopping trips with Grammy, and we'll cherish those memories in the photos she captured them in.
There are many memories I consider talking about today, but I finally settled on one of the most mundane ones, and one that clearly made a big impact on a lot of us. It's one that Uncle Steve mentioned in his speech as well. But every time I ever went to visit Grammy, she always would make spaghetti and meat sauce, or maybe French toast if it was before 2 or 3 p.m. She knew it was my favorite, and it always made me feel so loved that she had taken the time to make that for me. Grammy had this way of making each and every person she ever interacted with feel loved, as if she could see exactly what would mean the most to them and went out of her way to always do it. Not everyone here has had the pleasure of enjoying her cooking, but everyone who's ever met her has their own meat sauce and preferences.
For as long as I can remember, I've always been told how similar Granny and I are. We both loved bright colors, giving heartfelt gifts, and planning trips and parties, among many other things. Being compared to Granny always felt like the biggest compliment, since she brought warmth and joy everywhere she went. Granny was the sun, and we were all so lucky to be able to bask in her warmth. Thank you.
And Mike has asked me to read this love letter. I just let you wrote to Judy. Goodbye, my love. But I know it isn't really goodbye. You are so much a part of me that I carry you with me every day. So many memories. So many experiences shared. We met as new graduate students in Buffalo, both of us away from our families for the first time. My first day in the lounge at SUNY Buffalo, I saw you cross the room. We later met at a party, went on our first date to Niagara Falls, and we got married by justice of the peace, with only immediate family and a few friends present. We were smart, but oh so naive. But we clung together, received our PhDs 4 years later, walking up to get our degrees, not knowing that you were pregnant with our first child, Scott. Here we are, 60 years later, really separated for the first time. It has been quite a ride, but we knew it had to end sometime. You will always be my partner, my love, my lover, my best friend. As I look at each of our 3 children, their spouses, and our 5 wonderful grandchildren, I know that we did good. And though, with some bumps along the way, this 63-year journey was one to be proud of. Thank you for staying the course with me.
Will you join with me in the spirit of prayer, please? Spirit of mystery, spirit of life, we ask you to bless our memories of Judy Singer, that we may retain that sense of her life which connects us to her forever. We are grateful for the kindness and respect which she brought to this world. There are so many people who were able to thrive because of Judy's deep care. May her legacy grow in the many lives that she touched. Spirit of mystery, spirit of life, imbue us with that sense of wonder as we stand together facing the mystery of life itself. Fill us with reverence for life, for we know that our time together on this green earth is a blessing beyond measure, and we are grateful for the time we have had together. We offer our thanks for the life of Judy Singer. Spirit of mystery, spirit of life, we are thankful for Judy's sense of justice and the constant work she gave to help us all learn how to make this world a place of equity and kindness. Help us to remember her light by working for justice in our own parts of the world. And let us always remember the words of the prophets Isaiah and Amos as we listen to words which were foundational for connecting Judy's spiritual life to her work for justice. We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free. Where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, come, build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. May it be so. Amen.
As we prepare to conclude today's memorial service, may we carry with us the enduring gifts of Judy Singer's life, her generosity of spirit, her curiosity about the world, her compassion for others, and her deep devotion to family and community. May we remember her joy in stories, in travel, in vibrant sunsets, and most of all, in the people she cherished. May the light she brought to her family, her friends, and her community continue to shine in the lives she touched. May we honor her example by continuing the work she valued so deeply, building connections where there is loneliness, offering care where there is need, and creating communities of kindness and belonging. May her memory remain a blessing, a comfort, and a call to live more fully and more generously ourselves. Amen.
Amen.
today, the Singer family invites you to a memorial reception, which will begin now in the catering room, which is just on the other side of the main staircase. Let us continue to share fond memories of Judy Singer with each other.